It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
And welcome to the realm of geekdom. This is Nerd Breaking News. We are here on week 2 of the NBA playoffs, and let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's start off with you, Eagle. Let's see, what do you think? What's going on so far? How are things looking? We already had some teams that already been eliminated. So tell us what you think so far.
Lakers in 5. Oh man, am I happy? Oh man, am I happy? Something that we didn't expect, the Lakers falling down. Well, guys, here it is, right? What a game yesterday. Minnesota came through. It was a close game. Never should have been a close game. And Minnesota's one game away of getting to the second round after beating LeBron. And basically, that meant just, pushing him around, which I love.
Literally.
Now, a lot of people are going to say, LeBron put up numbers. Luca put up numbers after going to Chipotle and basically getting some stomach ache. I don't know, because they have to find something, because apparently a guy who's earning 30 something million dollars doesn't have a private chef, especially after he, straight into the Lakers, right? No, but the man wanted a Chipotle. He wanted a burrito. Bad timing, I guess. Bad timing. He still put up 38 points. Good for him. Not for the Lakers. He doesn't care about this season, right? Everybody knows it. He's still in the process of like, oh my God, I just got traded from my home. Well, listen, man, deal with it. This La La Land, okay? And we expect you to win. But who knows? Maybe LeBron gets tired and finally retires. That would be amazing. Okay, done with the Lakers. Oh, good for Ant-Man. Maybe they make a run to the finals and we can start, talking about how the fact that somehow, what is the French guy? His name Rudy Gobert. He finally helped the team go somewhere in life. Finally, after basically paying the NBA for those for the defensive player of the year, he's finally going to be able to say, "I have a ring to go with them." Okay, I actually work hard for those, so good for him too. Then the thing that I'm looking up to is series tie 2-2 Clippers and Nuggets. I mean, if you want to talk about selling your soul to the devil, I guess Aaron Gordon, you're that man. Okay, you're that man. Now, shouldn't have done that because it's only tied 2-2. Series is not over. I still think that the Nuggets are in a precarious situation, and I don't think they can get out of it. I think that the Clippers are going to close this in the next 2 games. Don't deal. Thank God that Kawhi's knee hasn't blown out. So that's a good, that's a good indication that they're going to win this round. Now, whatever happens in the semis, and if they ever get their semifinals and the conference finals, we'll see. I don't think any insurance company is saying that that Kawhi's knee is going to get there. But hoping for the Clippers, maybe finally it happens. They don't have Luka the killer, the Clipper killer, in Dallas anymore. They're not in the playoffs, so that they have that going for them. And then finally, the series that is keeping everyone awake, is turning much into like a real rivalry. The Rockets, the new Rockets, and the Warriors. I like this series. Golden State leading 2-1. The time we're recording this, um, Golden State up by 2. I don't know how it's gonna end, but I don't know. I think this is gonna go to 7 games. Who wins? Hmm. I don't know. I'm inclined to say that the Houston Rockets are going to get it done somehow, and then we're going to have a tough discussion about Golden State and how they're going to get better, trying to maximize Stephen Curry at the end. Because I don't think that Jimmy Butler is going to be enough. Jimmy Butler had his own problems with injuries, and even though he was feeling really well, playoff time is different. Half court offense, you need to be playing at least a good 35 minutes or more. But we'll see how it goes. That's as far as the West. I started with the West, so I
Yeah,
guess
let's keep
you
it on the
guys,
West for the moment. Let's give the other boys a chance to, be able to say a little bit about the West, and then we could jump on the East after that. So, Professor, let's go ahead and take your take on what's going on the West side so far.
So we are watching LeBron James's last playoff run. It seems like I see next year being the retirement tour. I don't understand how he could watch his team play the way that they're playing and continue finding motivation and playing basketball after this. I think he's done. And good for him. He's had a good job. That's no shade. He's literally up against the next generation, passing the torch. Ant-Man, if you look at the beginning of the series, seemed to have a certain kind of respect and deference. If you watch the last game, that deference is gone. He has no problem pushing back. He's like, I'm him. And LeBron's like, yeah, you're right. You're him. That's a sign that somebody's about to go. So Lakers and none. They're done. Forget that. Going to the Rockets Warriors series, I think you're seeing the exact opposite. With the Rockets Warriors, I think you're seeing the beginning of a brand new rivalry because these teams hate each other. On top of it, Draymond has revealed that he's one of the few players who can actually guard Sengun pretty well. Because look at what's happening now that Draymond's taking a little bit of a break. Sengun's going off. So when you're looking at this Rockets Warriors series, it's hard to call, but I think ultimately experience is gonna win out here. And even if Golden State wins in 5, I think it's important to remember how well the Rockets played and to give them credit for that because their fan base, in my view, should be very proud. With Clippers Nuggets, the Nuggets are in bad shape. I respect Aaron Gordon for tipping that ball in, but I almost wish he didn't because now they're gonna spend even longer getting beat up, getting shellacked, and getting whooped. The Nuggets have nothing for the Clippers, and I think everyone knows it. And what I'm actually looking forward to is watching the Clippers play against the Thunder because one of the facts that I think has been lost over time is that Kawhi Leonard is the reason why Shai Gilgeous-Alexander isn't a Clipper. And I would be surprised if Shai doesn't see that as some kind of motivation to go in there and bust them up. So I predict that this Clippers Thunder series is going to be the one to watch. That's going to be some Mortal Kombat stuff right there. Great basketball. Overall, this NBA playoffs, I think, has been the best in a long time.
Anything to touch up on, kid?
Man, first of all, ego was on fire. Loved it. Let's start in order. First of all, D'Angelo must be happy. He finally got something right. It only took him 4 years. SGA, PGA, Worlds in 5. I know he's probably happy. He can finally redeem himself from the OKC pick that he did years ago. Must be nice, D'Angelo, when you have 50,000 draft picks. So I guess anybody could build their team when you have 50,000 first round picks. But anyway, we got to give him credit, give him the kudos. He finally, that clock is right twice a day. He finally called OKC. Nuggets and Clippers is the best series in the playoffs, East or West. There's so much determinant in this. Again, we talked about it in nauseam. The Clippers financially and the Nuggets financially, the rosters and all that stuff. It's a great point by the professor. Aaron Gordon temporarily gave life to the Nuggets. The problem was the Nuggets had very little to no chance of winning the series. Mm-hmm. They're going straight by the heart of the champion kind of mentality, but they know they got no bench. Russell Westbrook has no business playing basketball anymore. That man is done. Nikola Jokic is seen more aggressive and more into the verbal confrontations with his team than he's ever done before. He's never done that before. He's getting to the point where he's like, I gave the greatest statistical season of my life, and yet we're fighting for our lives against the Clippers. Somebody mentioned the Clipper killer. Everybody's been a Clipper killer. And the fact that we're not following that tradition of being Clipper killers, that's an indictment on the damn Nuggets. Aaron Gordon, listen, you got a ring, awesome, great. You're either slam dunk champion or somewhat finalist thing. And now people are going to remember that you got one of the luckiest tip-in dunks in the history of sports. But whatever, we'll take it. I think, unfortunately, as much as I root for Nikola Jokic, the Clippers are going to win that series. Now comes to my favorite thing: the Lakers losing. Anytime the Lakers lose, the world is happy. The taxes are down. The air is better. I heard the egg prices went down too. The the taxes don't affect the Lakers. They brought it upon themselves, right? They brought it upon themselves. The Laker fan base is the most delusional fan base in basketball. They are the reason why the NBA will never ever beat the NFL. Never. The Lakers. They're the reason why. And ESPN and all these talking heads, they're also all to blame. The professor brought light in terms of like what happens in the West Coast because we don't live in the West Coast. So we got to give him kudos as it pertains to how they market the Lakers, how they market NBA teams.
Presentation, yeah.
So it's just a little bit of an obsession, and I just think that they're kind of like they're the Yankees of baseball. But the difference is the baseball there's no salary cap. The Yankees are allowed to be the Yankees every year because they just have more money than people. The Lakers are just annoying, and their fan base is annoying. Like I heard Shannon Sharp yesterday at Nightcap say Lakers in 7. Like, and he was that serious, right? And Gary Payton was on the show, and I was just like, the obsession that people have that, and don't get me wrong, it theoretically is not over. It's just that there's a high probability that it probably is, and that's where I go with the Ant-Man. Before I go to the Ant-Man, actually, Luka. Here's the problem with Luka. The problem with Luka is that when he saw his American food, he couldn't get enough. He's not playing defense. He's the only player in basketball with elastic pants. He plays.
Jesus.
He should be called the highway. Everybody gets through him. And the worst thing about Luka is that you could tell that he is a generationally talented offensive guy.
Mm-hmm.
His defense is pure trash. You know, and I agree with Eagle. You got traded. Wayne Gretzky got traded. Michael Jordan played for the Bulls. Tom Brady played for the Bucks. Get the hell over it. Those guys are actual champions. You're not. Why are you still crying? Anthony Edwards. Until you close the deal, until you say that you beat Luka and LeBron, which most likely will happen, I'm rooting for you, man. Shut the hell up. Win the damn series. Stop talking crap. You know, and again, you know how I feel about Anthony Edwards. He needs to actually do something so we can give him credit. And I think if he beats Luka, LeBron, he beat Jokic last year, and he beat KD, he's the Randy Orton of the NBA. He's just getting all the legends, and he's got one by one. The problem with Anthony Edwards and the T-Wolves is that if they beat Luka and LeBron, I think they got no shot against the Thunder. I hate to say it. They'll beat the Rockets or the Warriors in the next round, for sure. I just think that once they get to the Western Conference Finals, and there's no shot on the Ant-Man, I'm being objective with him. 2 straight Western Conference Finals, there's nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty cool. Rockets and Warriors, at the recording right now, it's 94-92, 7 minutes to go. Rockets are up. That's going to be a battle. Professor said it's going to go to 7, most likely. Or Eagle, one of you guys said it. I agree. Unfortunately, I don't want it to go to 7. And I think whoever wins that series, that battle between the Rockets and the Warriors, the T-Wolves are going to be laughing because they're going to be like, okay, keep fighting. We're done in 6. We're done in 5. And then by the time you go to the T-Wolves and you play those trees over there, it's just not going to be enough. So I think T-Wolves for sure make it to the Western Conference Finals. I didn't see that coming. And then we still have a long – we didn't think it happened. But if the Clippers do play the Thunder, D'Angelo must be sweating bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then continue talking about that. Now we're going to be seeing pretty much 2 teams going into the semifinals, pretty much chilling, relax, pretty much full of energy, while the other 2 teams are going to be coming out of battles. Like this is going to be an interesting way of how we're going to be able to see how things are going to play out in the semifinals. So let's go ahead and jump towards the East. But first, just to let everyone know, let's subscribe, hit the bell, don't miss an episode, and don't forget to check us out. We are on Spotify and YouTube. We'll have those links linked up below for you guys. So, the Eagle, what do you think about the East?
Yeah, listen. Props to the Knicks. They're somehow they're making the Pistons, the six seed Pistons, look amazing. The games are close. They're actually making Anthony Towns make a three like late in the game and making him all amped up and ready like, oh my god, I'm killing it in the playoffs. Never happened before. But it had to happen in somewhere. It had to be New York. Good for him, man. I feel for the Knicks. It's weird. They have a team, scrappy team, and then for some reason, when I watch their games, I worry. I worry. Like, man, what's going to happen in the second round when they eventually face off against the Celtics? Because I think that's going to be the second round matchup in the semifinals. And then going to that series, Celtics and Magic. Man, I love that series. I could watch those two teams face each other, you know, for a long time. I think the Magic is a young team and they keep coming back. The game on Sunday, they lost the game. They're down 1-3 in the series, but they just keep coming back. Boston's just too much, and it's not only for the Magic. Boston is a contender for the championship. Uh, that's the only reason why they, every time the Magic was trying to come back and they pull in within, 3, 2, 4, man, just the Celtics just had an answer. It could be the ball headed guy was just get Derek White, Jason Tatum, even Porzingis. Like it's just too much. Even Al Horford was animated, maybe because he was playing Orlando, the Gator fan. But I just the thing about this series right now is that the Celtics are who they are. It's just a matter where if they win it this year, how much money do they have to basically keep paying for the tax to keep this team together? If they win the championship, then you can't not pay any of the guys. You have to pay them because you have to go for the three-peat. It's history, okay? If that happens. And then on the Magic side, they're in a tough position because you have two players that that you have to develop around in Franz Wagner and what's his name? Paulo
Pablo
Banchero.
Banchero.
And you might have a team that people like me or Orlando fans are excited about and they want to see grow, but there's no growth. Listen, man, I know they're facing the Celtics. They need to get better players around those two guys. KCP was a nice addition. They made it the seventh seed. That means that they had to go through the play-in. And mind you, yes, they won the play-in game and they made it in the seventh seed. But that's not enough. They are in the same position as the Kings were 3 years ago, where you have a nice season where you lose
Here we
in the
go.
first round to a really good
Of
team.
course, you're gonna bring up the Kings.
Hey, listen, man, as a Kings fan, still I have to say it. The Kings were the same situation.
Come on, man.
Listen, the Magic are not going to go to 7 games against the Celtics. However, the Sacramento Kings did go to 7 games against the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah,
Now,
but that's disingenuous. The Kings had a better roster. Come on.
Exactly.
I don't know about a better roster. This Magic team is good.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Are you
Oh,
maybe
wow.
even I know?
You don't want to give the Magic the credit that they deserve? Fine, I'll do it. I have no problem. I actually like the team.
We
However,
gave Magic credit last time. We were talking about how they could have been a better team. It would have been better seeded if it wasn't through the injuries that they're going through. That the fact that they're able to compete better if they had Suggs and the other Wagner not in the injury list right now in the playoffs. We brought this up in the last
injury,
conversation.
no injury, that roster is not good enough. It's just simple.
Oh yeah,
we
no,
know.
Of course. Yeah.
So I hope that their general manager moves some pieces, signs some players. There's got to be somebody in free agency there's got to be an upgrade in the starting five. But on the good side, the future is bright. Hopefully for the Magic. If not, it's going to be like the Kings is going to all go down to the toilet, which is sad, very sad. Just like my Kings fandom is sad. Anyways, very sad for now. Moving on to Pacers and Bucks. Very sad for Damian Lillard. Some people were saying this is the end of his career. I don't think so. I don't think he's that far in. But we have seen some players get injured and get specifically the Achilles, right? Kobe Bryant couldn't come back from that. Obviously, he was older than Damian Lillard, but however, I think Damian Lillard is like 35 or 34. So, is around the same age like when Kobe suffered from that injury. And then, the obvious situation. Lillard is injured. probably through I don't know, maybe the entire year next year. What happens with the Greek Freak? Does it call it, basically it pulls an all cinder, basically says, I gave you a ship, I gave you everything I had, now I'm out, and he leaves, which would be better for the NBA because wherever he goes is going to be a competitive team, and we're probably going to have more fun. And finally, Justin, I'm we have to talk about the Heat. What just happened today
No, we
is
don't. No,
incredible.
we don't.
Oh, we don't? Okay, somebody else is going to touch it. But guess what? The Heat lost. No surprise. They suck. I don't know how they made it here. They got destroyed by the Cavaliers. Listen, the Cavaliers is a great team. I'm excited. I can't wait for them to beat the Pacers in the next round. That's what I
Here
want
we
because
go.
nobody likes Halliburton. Correct. Okay, and that's just me for these guys. It's going to get better once we get to the second round.
Oh yeah, 100%. Professor, obviously I see you, reacting to what the Eagle is saying. What do you think about the East?
Okay, so first with the Magic, what's funny is most of the Magic fans were talking about trying to pursue Dame Lillard over the summer, and well, that's not going to happen anymore. So, to the Eagles' point, there really is no path for growth with that roster. They have two really, really good players and a bunch of players that just they just can't. They're not going to be able to get it done. They're just not good enough. and many of them have, and they've been together for a hot minute. So you're at the point now where you have to start giving some folks some pink slips and start bringing in some real professionals onto that team, because you got Banchero over here fighting for his life and doing a really good job. They are fighting the Celtics hard. That 3-1 isn't quite right because
they're a very physical team.
They are. They're doing the best they can. But unfortunately, we don't give trophies for efforts. We give trophies for winning. And there are no wins coming. So when you're watching the Magic get beat up like that, all you can do is blow the team up. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. As for the Celtics and their purchased team, they're the Yankees of the East. In basketball, it's to be expected. Knicks Pistons, this one also doesn't tell the whole story either. To me, it means a lot for the Knicks to be able to withstand the beatings that the Pistons are throwing on them night after night. There are many games where I'm like, how the heck are the Knicks even still in this? And that's the power of that Jalen Brunson friendship with little Villanova crew. They will not let that team die. And I respect it. I think we also have to give a lot of credit to the Pistons for what they seem to have developed into literally overnight. You got to give credit where credit's due. Game recognized game. They're playing a great series. Pacers Bucks, it's a shame that Dame Lillard's career is over because it is over. I don't see any possible way that he's going to be able to shoot the way that he shoots with one good leg. If he was a mid-range shooter, it'd be different. If he was a pure point guard, it would be different, but he's neither of those things. So I don't see him rebuilding his leg and then changing his entire game for a team that he doesn't even care about, because he's not really a Bucks player. So he would change everything around to play for them. I don't see it. Maybe if he gets moved to a team back home, the Clippers, Golden State, maybe even Sacramento, he might go ahead and make those kinds of adaptations. But to do it for Milwaukee, I just don't see it. Now, the Heat. My heart hurts. My heart hurts bad. My heart hurts bad because I was right. And every single person that runs that franchise was completely wrong. I've been saying that Bam Adebayo was hot, stinking garbage for years. The second they gave that man money, they made it so that team was unable to bring in other players. And the thing is, that man's going to get paid $40 to $50 million a year to give me how many points, kid? How many points was it?
We said 18, I think.
What, today?
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Listen, at halftime I stopped, so I don't know.
Correct. No one knows because everybody turned that game off. I watched it for 5 seconds and my eyes, I felt they were going to bleed from what I saw. It was so painful. I saw a team give up. Tyler Hero supposedly was evoking Jimmy Butler either this morning or yesterday, which in Heatland is asking, please trade me. So Tyler Hero's like, get me the heck out of here. And we saw from how he played, he's done. Because he was over. I think he scored like what? He went what? 1 for 10? Something like that? 1 for 10? 1 for 10? Nah, bro. That doesn't even make any sense. Wiggins doesn't want to be there either. Wiggins looking all passive over there. He's like, y'all need to re-sign me. I'm good. Someone else is gonna pay me. Get me out of here. And they have this roster constructed specifically for Bam Adebayo to look good, to continue this myth, this mythology that he is an all-star level player, when anyone with eyes will tell you that he is not. Once upon a time, that man was the third best big in basketball. He's not even top 10 anymore. He's not even top 10. Let that man go. Pack his bags. You don't even have to pay me. I'll go over there right now and pack his bags and send him anywhere. Utah, New York, someone take this man from my team, please. Please, I'm begging you. It doesn't make sense. Then in the meantime, because he's so bad, he makes Tyler Hero look worse. He's got Tyler Hero looking completely terrible. And Tyler Hero's, he's not great, don't get me wrong, but he's not 1 for 10 bad. You know why he went 1 for 10? Because he had nobody to pass to. That's why. He's like, I could pass it to him. He's going to miss. I could pass it to him. He's going to miss. Might as well do it myself. I can't blame him. I can't blame him one bit. Look at that sorry roster we've got. It doesn't make any sense. Why did they even make it to the playoffs to begin with? For what? And you know who told you? Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler saw what he had to work with. He went, nah, bro. This ain't it, bro. And y'all have me over here shooting threes. Even Golden State doesn't have Jimmy Butler shooting threes. Have you peeped that? Have you peeped that? That's how incompetent the Heat franchise is right now. They overpaid Bam. They got Hero out here doing nonsense. And they traded Jimmy Butler. And then convinced this delusional fan base that it all would have worked out. Pat Riley himself even said, I don't know if y'all remember this, but I do. He even said that he was certain that this team would be competitive without Jimmy Butler. These MFers got swept in the first round. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here, bro. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
The animated professor.
I'm done,
Wow.
bro. I'm so done.
So obviously,
every year I go through this crap. Every year.
so
they want to pretend, well, we'd be fine without Jimmy Butler. We'll be just fine. The F are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? These motherfuckers are high. I'm sorry. Pardon my French. I'm sorry.
while the professor is experiencing a blizzard in the heat over there, kid, what is your take on things?
Everything hurts.
So Bam is so bad that he makes the bonus look good.
Exactly. Ooh.
Right? So bonus is pure trash. But Bam is worse. By the way, I looked it up. Bam had 13 points. I don't know what that
13.
money gets me. It gets me 13 points. I don't know what's he doing in the court. Bam is so bad. Anyways, the first series, we're not going to talk about that. The professor just destroyed that series. Cavaliers, they're going to chill for the next week. It is what it is. The Heat are trash. They have bigger problems to worry about. Pacers and Bucks. Somebody mentioned Dame Lillard. I think it was the professor that he was going to come back. Dame Lillard hasn't come back in 10 years. He's been trash. I've been saying Dame Lillard is trash. He used to put what? Game time? That used to be for him. It's rehab time.
Mm-hmm.
Retire, bro. You're trash. You haven't won anything. You have mass hypnosis on the NBA that people actually think he's good. I've been saying he's trash. I've been saying he's nowhere near Steph Curry, nowhere near the elite point guards of the last 10 years. But again, for whatever reason, people like this guy, and I just don't get it. Dame Lillard has always been. He's not. How about this? Let me take it back. He's not trash. He's just not the player that people think he is, and he's not a winner. So that's the Dame Lillard thing. Giannis, that's a great. I got to give the Eagle credit on that. Great take on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Alcindor. I gave you a ring. I gave you an MVP. I gave you 7 to 9 years of my damn life. I grew up here. I did everything I can. You cut my brother last year in the roster. I still remember that. You should have let them on the roster for morale reasons. I need somebody to understand me. He's the Arnold of and he's leaving. And where he goes, the Eagle made a good point. Where he goes is going to change the trajectory to a degree, because the thing with Giannis is he doesn't have a jump shot. As long as you could do a wall against him, and the thing with Giannis is people seem to forget that because Nikola Jokic has been so dominant the last 5 years, it was supposed to be Giannis' era. And people overlooked him. People forgot about him because how great Nikola Jokic is. And Nikola Jokic and him are tied in rings, but nobody puts, you notice that, right? Nobody's saying that Giannis is an all-time great center anymore. Nobody's saying that anymore. But 5 years ago, we were like, oh, he's right there. Give him another couple years.
15, supposedly.
So, yeah. Everybody's trying to put Yoke in that top 10. People forgot about the Greek Freak. And I'm not even hating on the Greek because I like the Greek Freak. It just tells you the level of Yoke dominance the last 5 years. Next in Pistons, listen, Pistons fans. I know you're bitching about that foul supposedly of Tim Hardaway Jr. Listen, man, Tim Hardaway Jr. would have made that with or without that foul. The Mecca got to him. The spirit of New York got to him.
God.
Yeah, with the exception of Karl Anthony Towns, who's one of the biggest scrubs in Knick history. But I guess we have to like him because he's a Knick.
Like a real Knicks fan, I guess I gotta like him.
Gee, how are the Wolves doing without Karl Anthony Towns? Oh, that's right, they're succeeding. Anyways, by the way, the game is tied 104, under 1 minute to go. Knicks are gonna advance. The Pistons gave us a hell of a fight. I was scared. I'm gonna admit it. I don't know why the Eagle will take all these shots at the greatest team in the history of basketball. When the Sacramento Kings are a perennial G League team, when De'Aaron Fox basically said, I don't want to be here. I'd rather go to San Antonio where there's nothing to do over there and go play basketball. And probably the greatest mistake in Kings history, outside of not drafting Luka Doncic, is the great Tyrese Halliburton is probably the greatest, should have been the greatest Kings player in history. And for whatever reason, the GM for the Kings, it was probably Vlade Divac. I don't know. I have to go back to the archive of the Kings, and gave away the greatest player in the history of the Kings franchise. And it's a damn shame. And the worst thing about it, the Kings fans, I get it. You're emotional, and it's pretty obvious that he's the greatest player in Kings history.
And actually, can I add a point there, kid?
Please, alley-oop it, bro.
So I caught it. On top of it, too, when you're looking at it, Halliburton is so good that he resurrected the Indiana Pacers. Are we forgetting how trash the Pacers were before he got there? For a while. He has Miles Turner look like a basketball player again. Then they added Pascal Siakam. Imagine if Siakam clearly joined the Pacers to play with Tyrese Halliburton, obviously. If Halliburton was on the Kings, Pascal Siakam would probably be there too. So think about it. By not having what?
Ooh, Professor, is he gonna go for a block over here on your slam dunk?
I think so.
Ego. Defend yourself.
So when you're looking at it, if you're the Kings could have had Sabonis, Siakam, and Halliburton. That's
stretch.
How?
Professor.
You got the space.
Too far.
How?
So here's the thing. You're basing that on too many hypotheticals, right? First of all, remember this. The only way that Sabonis gets to the Kings is by trading Halliburton. It would have been the other way around if instead of trading Halliburton, they trade Fox. However, we don't know for a fact. We don't know for a fact because it was never reported if Indiana was actually interested in Fox. However, we know from the Kings that the Kings were not interested in trading Fox at the time, only Halliburton, when it became clear that they needed to give more to Indiana for Sabonis. So there's no, that's the only way that it could have happened. But it's a big if because we don't know, again, if Indiana was interested in Fox. The other thing about Siakam is that Sacramento also pursued him, but Siakam was very adamant about the teams that he wanted to go. And he only wanted to go to Indiana because he saw, how good Halliburton was. As much hate I have in my heart for that man, because he couldn't stop crying the minute that he was traded, because he had JJ Redick, the now Lakers coach, do a PR for him in ESPN, basically saying that it was malpractice. Okay? That's how bad he was. He was crying for 2 straight weeks. Like, oh my God, they traded me. That was my home. My family was there. My girl was there. My dog was there.
Hold on. But I got a question for Eagle. Hold on. But did he get? Hold on. But did he get traded voluntarily, or did the GM traded him? I'm asking. I have no idea.
Of
The
course, he
GM
was traded
traded
because
him. That's what happened.
the GM
No.
traded him. Yeah.
Wait, so he didn't want to leave Sacramento?
No, not at all. He cried for it.
What's the beef? What's the beef?
Because he shouldn't have been crying, bro. You
wanted
were
to
traded.
stay. He
Let me
wanted
tell you
to
what the
stay.
beef is. Kid, you know what the beef is? The beef is this. Sacramento Kings fans have to defend any nonsense that franchise does because they don't want to admit they had the second least competent front office behind the Heat in the NBA. They don't want to have to own it. They want to go ahead.
No.
and
I'll be
They
I'll
want
be
to
the
make
one
it
to
sound
say
like
it.
Halliburton is weak because they chose to get rid of him. Did you know he
No,
even
no,
came
no,
out
no.
and said that he had no problem playing next to Fox for the remainder of his career? He
Wow.
had no
Oh my
problem.
God! Look at that
Yes.
article.
Yes.
Give me that article. And second of all, you know what I'll say? I'll tell you it's BS, but a big one BS. But you know what? To give you something, just Professor, he might be telling the truth because to be completely honest, the one who had an issue with them playing together was actually Fox. But the
Bingo.
but the
So we should
GM,
be-
you know, they didn't want to see it.
That's
So
all I
how's that?
wanted.
So hold
That's
on.
all I wanted.
So how's it Halliburton's fault?
No, I'm just upset he kept crying like he was here for 5 years, won a championship, and he was all touchy on his feelings. Oh, I wanted to stay there. There was a team that drafted
No,
me.
no,
But
no.
you
Hold
just
on.
got here.
Do you know what
From
Halliburton
what
is?
I'm hearing, the real issue is Sabonis is trash.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, he's
a
not.
trash.
Why was he an all-star
Comparison
when he was
to
there?
Halliburton. Compared to
He's been an
Halliburton.
all-star. He's been, if anything, we talked
Um,
about this. He
What
should have been an
channel?
all-star
What channel
this
are the
year.
Kings playing? What channel are the Kings playing right now? Let me know.
So let
It's
me confirm this. Let me confirm this. You didn't make the playoffs and you're fucking trash. And I'm sorry for the.
I'm not
Is
saying
that
that.
what you're
I'm
saying?
not saying that. I'm not saying.
But you just said that because you just asked if he's playing in the playoffs.
I'm saying who won the trade?
Who won the trade? So far, Indiana.
No,
What should be so far
Big
in
time.
Indiana?
Come
I know
on,
so
bro.
far Indiana.
Yeah,
So
there's
far
one team
Indiana.
in the playoffs, the other one is sitting at home in Cancun.
Correct. And then at the same time, the team gets worse by adding DeRozan and Levine to it. So you made it even worse. You made
That
it
is
even
true.
worse.
That is true, bro. Listen, I can't defend that. I never will. I was against the trade. To be honest, I am happy that we got rid of Fox. And
you
listen,
should be more mad at Fox than Halliburton.
But
I
hold
am
on.
too.
And if memory
I
serves
am
me
too.
correctly, weren't
Yeah,
DeRozan and Siakam free agents at the same time?
They were not free agents. Siakam was traded to the
Okay.
Pacers.
So you
Yes.
could have traded for him, yeah?
We could, but he didn't want to. Those
Why
were the
not?
reports. He didn't want to go to Sacramento.
So he'd rather
Who?
go to a place.
Who
So
wants
he'd
to go to
rather go to a
Sacramento?
place like Indiana than
Siakam.
a place like Sacramento.
Siakam didn't want to go.
Right.
Yeah,
because
but okay,
Siakam wanted to
let's
play
be
with who?
completely honest. Like Indiana is a basketball city. Let's be completely honest. It's not,
Yeah.
you know,
I'll give you that.
It's not
I'll
like
give you that.
Utah.
Wait
You're
a
right.
second.
You're right.
Have y'all been to Indiana?
No.
Listen,
Ew.
no. But I'm not saying Professor. I'm not saying it's a beautiful city. Stop. And Sacramento isn't a beautiful city either.
It's okay.
No,
Yeah,
but
but
hold on.
it's a basketball city.
Eagle's right here. The Indiana State, the state of the Hoosiers and all that stuff, they're huge in basketball. They're more into basketball than football in Indiana.
Who cares? Do you so okay? So we think that these NBA players are like, wow, I really want these fans to cheer for me really, really loudly.
Clearly
No,
not.
probably Siakam
They want to
wasn't.
eat good food. They want to be in the street. They want to make money.
But the problem, there is no street in Indiana.
Correct. Correct.
Oh my God!
I'm going to the game on top of my horse. Okay.
Oh my God!
The thing is, the Eagle has to admit that Fox did far worse than Halliburton ever did to the Kings. One,
Correct.
And two, when you have Sabonis, it's the same thing with Bam Adebayo. You're not winning anything. You got to get rid of this guy.
But you see, that's a stretch. That's a stretch because Sabonis actually put doubles. Like he was the leader in rebounds, like I talked about. And
What's
we talked
the impact?
about here.
What's the impact?
But
the problem with Sabonis
so
is
what
he
you're
can't space
saying?
the floor.
So listen. I'm willing to have the conversation whether because we can talk about it. Empty stats, right? We see a guy putting amazing stats, but it's not translating into wins. I'm willing to have that conversation about Sabonis because there's a serious issue in Sacramento. Like you have a guy who's putting up amazing numbers and we're still losing games. I'll give you that. Like we can have that conversation. But at the same time, you can't compare him to Lam Adebayo. The professor just explained like minutes ago how trash he is and the money that he's getting paid. You can't compare that to Sabonis. I'm sorry.
Well, there is something you can say that I think has merit, and that is the flaw in both of their games that they are both very very bad for spacing. That's why neither of them impacts winning. When you're
Okay,
looking at
wait,
Sabonis,
wait. We you can I listen. Sabonis started shooting threes this year. People who don't
this
watch
year,
Sacramento Kings game wouldn't know. Correct, but I'll tell you what. Before he was shooting three, he wasn't shooting any threes before this year.
mm-hmm.
However, his mid-range game is hell of a lot better than Bam Adebayo or a lot of other tall men in the like big men in the NBA. It's just people don't watch his games. What do you think
I've
that the only thing that he scores is by basically posting up? Nobody posts up in the NBA.
I've seen his games. So the thing is when you're looking at Sabonis's game, the issue is where he's standing. Similar to Bam Adebayo, it's where they are on the court. Because they're so close to the basket, usually, to your point, Sabonis can hit a three and Bam can't. Totally agree with you. But ultimately, it's not his game. Kind of like Steph's mid-range. It's not his game. That's not what he's looking to do. He can do it if he needs to, but it's not what he wants. So because the spacing is off, the defense against that team has a very easy job. Just crowd the paint. Because the team has no shooters. Then you add DeRozan, which adds to your no shooting problem because he's not going to hit a three either. So what does defense against the Kings look like? Crowd the paint. It's not hard.
No, that's why they won 40 games and that was it. They lost in the first
Mm-hmm.
playing game. Simple as
It's
that.
too
I
basic.
mean, it's the same. It's not the same thing as the Magic, but the same remedy is needed. Blow up the
Mm-hmm.
damn roster, and even worse than the Magic because the Magic have building pieces.
Yep.
Sacramento has
Oh,
Sabonis and a big contract, and they have the contract with Zach LaVine, which the Bulls have been trying to trade for the last 3 years, and
Yep.
nobody saw any value.
That was a horrible trade, by the way.
Terrible trade.
Horrible
But
trade.
out of
Y'all
nowhere
did
comes
anyways.
Sacramento with an owner who has been enamored with Zach LaVine forever, and
By the
that's where
way,
we are. Is
Golden State just won. They go up 3-1 in the series. The last play was outside of Jimmy Butler's free throws was Green versus Sagon. They've been going at it all day, and
mhm.
Draymond Green did enough on the post defense to disrupt the shot. It almost went in. Butler got the rebound. They hit the free throws. GSW wins. And anytime Fred VanVleet loses, I'm happy. He's a scrub. And so, yeah.
Perfect. So there you go, guys. We get the updated. It is now 3-1 for GSW on this
Crazy.
graph that we have on the screen. And let's go ahead. Any final words on the East or the West or anything about the playoffs before we end this podcast?
I have some. I think that we're looking at the most important playoffs in a very long time. And most of these combinations of players, most of these players aren't going to be on these same teams next season. So if you like a player on your team, now is the time to support them because they might be gone. The Heat about to blow it up. Bucks about to blow it up. Magic definitely blowing it up. Celtics running out of money. Warriors probably going to blow it up a little bit too. You got Giannis on
Nuggets
the
are
fence.
probably in that same spot too.
What was that?
The Nuggets are probably in that same spot too.
Oh, the Nuggets are sure as heck
Clippers.
blowing that thing up.
Clippers.
Grizzlies,
Mhm.
Clippers. Like when you're looking at Lakers, when you're looking
Yeah.
at it, OKC, when you're looking at they've got a whole bunch of draft picks. They might go get Giannis too. Goodbye, Chet. Giannis, bye. There we go. Switch them out. It's gonna be interesting. Very
That's a
interesting.
that's a hell of a point. A lot of these teams are going to have a lot of remodeling and reshuffling of the rosters, and the NBA free agency is second to none.
Yep.
Shams and all these people, like that first 24 hours when we already know it's been leaked who signed with who and all that stuff. We're so excited. The NBA free agency is the best free agency in sports.
Absolutely.
And to the professor's point, Even the great OKC Thunder, if they lose in the Western Conference, what do you do there? The Grizzlies are now having thoughts about John Morant because there was an article that came out that John Morant allowed his peers to beat him in the public opinion of the NBA, right? Anthony Edwards has overpassed John Morant.
Yep.
Like, it's just interesting to see how this all works. So, yeah. By the way, last thing I need to say about the Magic, I agree with everything the professor said and the Eagle said. I just think the only thing they need to do is again, there's a lot of pieces there. I've been watching the Magic, and it's a hometown team this year a little bit more than they ever did. You have a lot of pieces like Cole Anthony and Suggs and Wendell Carter Jr. who are just there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. They need actual better people.
Correct. Use those pieces to actually bring someone that could actually contribute in a positive way and actually get them over the hump that they're currently in. Yeah, but everyone, thank you for tuning in. Let us know what you think about what we said today. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know your opinion. Let us know what you think about what's going on in the playoffs. We'll have another video next week as we continue to cover the NBA playoffs here. But till then, fellow nerds, this is Nerd Breaking News.